Pedro Munhoz versus Dominick Cruz. Take it away, Dan.
All right, yeah. I'm going to start off with Pedro Munhoz because we all know Dominick Cruz. He lost his last fight to Jose Aldo, and Jose Aldo just fought last week. Jose Aldo, when he fought Rob Font, what won him that fight, Rob Font was, for the first round, picked him apart. Picked Jose apart, put on the pressure. Jose Aldo just got the knockdowns, and the top control in the end that won him the fight. Personally, that's how I feel. But I feel like in a straight up mano a mano situation, like Jose Aldo had the power, but fucking Rob Font was the more skilled striker. You know what I'm saying?
I don't totally agree. I love Rob Font, but I think Jose Aldo just changed my whole entire mind once I think he might beat him I think he could have beat him in every single round.
I had it I said it could be 48-47 or it could be 50-45 Aldo. That was my takeaway from the fight, because the first two rounds you could have given it to Rob Font because he was picking him apart.
Rob Font looked better early on for sure.
Yeah, but the knockdowns that Jose Aldo got in that fight, the power discrepancy was.
Yeah, it was.
So for those reasons, this fight, I'm gonna say goes the distance.
That's a solid bet right there, honestly. Also, another close one. Solid bet. The distance.
Another close one. It's gonna be two strikers. Pedro Munhoz also had that 5-round back and forth fight with Frankie Edgar, where he lost a split decision last August. Right. So yeah, it's been that's kind of showing you where his striking's at. Dominick Cruz, I think, is still maybe he's around, if not a slightly higher level. We haven't seen too much of him though, is the issue. We saw him against Triple C, where he kind of, he got finished. He said it was early. He doesn't like Keith Peterson.
No, he got beat in that fight for sure.
But then he went out and beat Casey Kenny. I think he won that fight.
But Casey Kenny really he did well.
Yeah,
he put on a good fight.
But Dominick Cruz is one of the most awkward fighters you can possibly fight in the UFC.
Yeah. With
the weird footwork, keeping his hands down, but it all somehow works out for him.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like Cruz in this fight. I think he's able to get a 29-28 unanimous decision, maybe a split decision. This fight's going to be razor thin. I'm going to take a look at the odds real quick. It's minus 120. It's plus 100 for Dominick Cruz. I'm seeing minus one. I'm seeing pick'ems. This fight really is a pick'em. I'm going to take Dominick Cruz and his awkwardness, and I can't doubt the man. He's come back from so many obstacles and still wants to compete.
Yeah.
And he's the bantamweight GOAT,
he really is amazing. And his career, what was that win streak that he had? 12 wins in a row or something like that?
Going back into the WEC days,
some ungodly number. It's like 12 wins, or something like that. It's just absolutely insane. But
Ian McCall, Joseph Benavidez, Brian Bowles, Joseph Benavidez again, Uriah Faber. He beat Demetrius Johnson. He beat TJ Dillashaw in his comeback fight after all that shit to win the belt. Then he beat Uriah Faber again, and then he lost in that in Cody Garbrandt's greatest performance of all time, which was that fight was honestly one of the most performance-wise, Cody Garbrandt was the best he ever looked that night, and he hasn't looked the same since then.
Really hasn't.
He was so disciplined. He was just perfect that night. But yeah, that and the Henry Cejudo loss are the only losses he's had since 2007 when he got guillotined by Uriah Faber. So
yeah.
I'm gonna take Dominick Cruz in this one. He's 36. He's he's not as old as you think he is, and he's got a 23-3 record. He hasn't taken that much damage. He moves around so much. He doesn't get hit that much.
Yeah,
he rolls with the punches. Like, I like Dominick Cruz.
Yeah. He is 1-1 since that 3-year hiatus that he had, since like after those 2 losses. Oh, well, after that 1 loss, he like took 3 years off.
And but he did have a hiatus also, and then he came back and he beat TJ Dillashaw in a really close fight for the belt.
That's true. He was a younger guy.
I say you cannot say TJ Dillashaw is the bantamweight GOAT because Dom beat him.
No one will ever say that. That Casey Kenny fight, no, not you, like the other people. That Casey Kenny fight, back in March earlier this year, was a split decision. It was a close fight. He had some struggling with Kenny, a guy who doesn't have the best takedown defense to begin with. He really struggled those first 2 rounds taking him down. He didn't take him down at all. I could have seen a possible favor, like I could have seen like why someone would have called it. One judge would have said like, "Oh, Kenny won that." But overall, I do think that he did enough to get it. That he did enough to get the win there.
So did I, and I had money on Casey Kenny. I was like, "Fuck Dominick Cruz."
His striking looked really good though. He turned it up in the 3rd. He outstruck Kenny 53-18. Got 2 takedowns finally after going like 0 for 7 or 0 for 8 or something like that. His cardio isn't in question, and neither is his IQ. I'm worried about that grappling. I didn't like when I really didn't like what I saw, that he wasn't able to take him down, because that's such a huge part of his game. But in recent future, he's really slowed down with that. He's had 2 takedowns over his last 3 fights, and before that, I think he had like 9.
Yeah, I mean, he mixed it up. I mean, he's still got that awkward stand up that you got to worry about, though.
Yeah, he does for sure. He's not to be left like. Yeah, he's sick.
I never get a Pedro Munhoz fight right, so either way, like I'll probably be wrong.
Well, okay. So Pedro Munhoz 2-3 in his last 5, losing his last time out to this new godly Jose Aldo. Not to mention 3 fight of the nights in his last 5 fights, which I think is just unheard of. It might sound good though in reality, a lot of fight of the nights, but those are all wars. Getting into wars takes a toll on you. It's not a good thing to get into. It's good for the UFC, but it's not good for the fighter. He has a minus 0.5 striking differential, 43% accuracy, 80% takedown defense. Overall wins mostly by submission, although his last 4 wins have either been by KO or decision. So he really has developed
well for every single fight recently.
Yeah, his game is much more well-rounded. He like took a totally different approach. This one is I'm not gonna lie, this one is so tough. I said that about a couple, but the last, it is. I'm not gonna lie, I think it is close. I think it's going the distance. I'm gonna go with Pedro. Not too confident, but I think
I'm not that I'm not very confident in Dom, but if I want to see Dom go out there and just be vintage Dominick Cruz and just be awful.
He was fun to watch, man. He was good.
Just coming with those weird angles with his hands down, I love it.
Yeah, he was awesome. But we're going to disagree. Dan's going to go with Dominick Cruz. I'm going to go with Pedro Munhoz.